Hey guys, Sublord here, back in with another action figure review, and today we'll be taking a look at the WWE Create a Superstar Frankenstein's Monster Undertaker, brought to us by the fine folks over at Mattel, as well as my good buddy wmpyr, a name that I have not uttered on this channel in a hot minute. Put the link in the description below. So long as he's still here on the YouTubes. Last I checked, he was still doing his martial arts thing and possibly some horror movie related stuff. He doesn't exactly do the toy thing anymore, which I get. You know, after moving as much as he has, you don't want to lug around a bunch of crap anymore, do ya? So click the link in the description below. Head on over to his channel, give him a subscribe, let him know Overlord sent you, because he was cool enough to send me this figure back in the day, like almost 10 years ago now. Pretty sure I was in college when I got the Create a Superstars stuff from him, because he didn't just send me this one, he sent me a whole bunch of them. He sent me the Triple H Gladiator, the Kane Mad Max warrior looking guy, there was a samurai, there was a dude as a bear, there was an Egyptian one. There are several really cool ones, but there are also some that are a little bit harder to come by. They came out a little later. Like, there was a SWAT gear character, there was a medieval executioner character, of all things, and then there was Sting with the DC Classics Hawkman wings, of all things. And that's one I want to track down, because along with Undertaker and Kane, I love me some Sting. And I know some of you out there are going to be like, of course, your favorite wrestlers are a demon, a dead man, and a Kiss ripoff. Well, sue me. I like what I like, dang it. And I like this figure, so why don't we cut right to the chase and get to the meat and taters of this review and take a look-see at all the Frankenstein Undertaker has to offer in terms of accessories. Of course, he has an Undertaker head. I kind of wish it was green to mesh better with this, because on the box, his neck is still flesh tone like this, so it kind of works because it's sewn on there. But in the figure's case, you can't really do that. It said you get a pair of skeleton arms here, which I will show you how you can pop and swap. Pop and swap with these. These almost feel like the anyone remember the Big Lots skeletons? I think they wound up at Home Depot and Wally World later on, but very similar to those. But a little bit better quality. Obviously, it's Mattel, not whoever made them things. Got some skeleton feet, yeah. Very thick skeleton ankles on this guy. Clearly he is big boned. But there you go. Pair of feet. We get this tattered cloak, which is not the best material. It's very thick. You can't really do much with it. I would love to see this in like a softer rubber material instead of this kind of waxy soft plastic that Mattel uses. They still use this type of stuff on the Masterverse figures, so that's kind of interesting. But I think the coolest accessory has to be this break apart tombstone, because you can literally smash it over somebody's head. Kind of like Solomon Grundy from Injustice Gods Among Us, if you're familiar with that game. Basically Mortal Kombat, but with DC characters. Now, let's take a closer look at the figure as he comes in the package. You can see he's got some tattered pants there, he's got some boots. Not exactly platforms, but boots nonetheless. He's got a handcuff on this side, so clearly he's escaped from somewhere. He's got a bit of a bobble to the waist, but that's okay. He's got a bit of a bobble in several places, but that's all fine and dandy because this guy is meant to come apart. But before we look at that, let's look at the articulation. His head will look side to side. He's got that crazy kind of Frankenstein looking head. Shoulders will pop out, back down, rotate all the way around. Single jointed elbow with rotation.
Swivel in the wrist. Waist twist will move all the way around. Hips will kick out to the side. Back down. Not the tightest joints on this guy, but it's not like floppy or flimsy. It's just not like clicky or anything. Detent it. So he can kick forward that far. Can't really kick back at all. He's got a single knee. Wish he had a swivel down here. Would have been nice. I think swiveling knees and some ankle rockers would have really helped this line, but I get they're probably building these off basic figure molds. You know, with the wrestlers, they got the basics, they got the elites, and now they got, are they called ultimates? I can't remember. But they're more expensive than the elites used to be. He does have a boot cut and a hinge in the foot, but you don't get a ton out of that. Excuse me. But as far as popping and swapping goes, you can, of course, pop off his head. You can pop off the arms. Like so. Pop off the torso. There you go. You can pop off the legs, I think. Yep, you can pop off the legs. I'm just going to put that back on. Legs are a little harder to pop off than the other joints, but that's okay. And then, of course, you can pop off the boots. That said, why don't we actually do some popping and swapping here? Since Mattel was generous enough to give us all these extra parts, let's give him a skeleton foot. Make sure that's the correct side. Is that the side I want to use? No, it's the other side I wanted to swap. It's the other side I want to swap. Hold on. Hold it. Hold it. Pop off this boot. And we'll grab the other one. There it is. I have the same one. Goofball. There we go. Now he's got a skeleton foot. Put the Undertaker's head on. Why not? Put the cloak on. Almost gives me a Hammer Frankenstein vibe, this figure. Give him a skeleton arm. Then we'll give him a jacked up arm there. The handcuff. Put this stuff over. And there we have our Undertaker Frankenstein, looking a lot more like a Frankenstein's monster with a different color head. This cloak, the skeleton parts, really cool. And I will say the skeleton parts don't throw him off balance at all. I think he stands straight up even with those, so I'm guessing the ankle might just be a little longer, but either way, that is cool. I dig it. I'd love to see a full skeleton, obviously, but beggars can't be choosers. So standing him up there. I would put his tombstone in front of him, but unfortunately, it falls forward. Just like the jump scare props at Spirit Halloween. So why don't we bring in our two regulars, the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibilith. So I don't have any other wrestling figures handy at the moment. And the infamous Unlimited Spawn, who is probably neck and neck with this guy. He's a little bit taller, but not enough to be towering. But yeah, man, I like this figure. I liked this line when it was out. Surprisingly enough, I didn't get into it as much as Mashers, probably because I wasn't a big wrestling guy, but I would like to backtrack and get some of the ones I missed. I would also like to check out the Monsters line, because freaking Undertaker was this crazy vampire in that, and I don't really understand why I never bought that. You know, the mind boggles, I suppose. And then there's, of course, the zombie line. I do have one of those, but I don't know where it is. It's
the Stone Cold. He's got like the smoldering skull. I guess it's kind of like Ghost Rider, so that's on brand. And then there was a Mutants line. I think I had the Gold Dust Alien. I think I sent that off to somebody. So, you know, other wrestling lines I'm willing to check out. They're not outside the realm of possibility. They just gotta, I don't know, they gotta scratch a certain itch. And this Frankenstein Undertaker, it definitely does. So with that being said, I think it's time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and despite the fact that the fine folks over at Mattel aren't making these Create a Superstar figures anymore, I would say that they are good enough and, more importantly, fun enough to go backtrack and try to get your hands on some. Like I said, these are some of the most fun and creative wrestling figures I have ever messed with. Granted, I'm not the biggest wrestling guy, but I do like me some creative character lines like this and or Hasbro's Hero Mashers. That said, if you guys want me to take a look at some more wrestling lines like the zombies, the monsters, or even the mutants, let me know in the comments below. However, if you suggest I look at the Turtles crossover stuff, I will ask you to go burn in the pits of Tartarus where you belong. So that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.